guys, welcome back to my channel, The You in Fashion. My name's Megan. On my channel, we discuss fashion, luxury, handbags, and lifestyle. So if you're interested in any of those topics, please like and subscribe, and don't forget to hit that notifications bell down below so you don't miss any of my content. So this is actually part 2 of the Fenty face based on the tutorial on the Fenty website of the bronzed glow look. So this is part 2 that's going to include the eyes, the brushes they use to create the eyes, what they use to create the eyes, and also the concealer used and the setting used is going to be in this section. So let's go ahead and get started. And of course, as always, everything in this video will be linked below for the links that I'm going to discuss today. So things that I feel like you can pass on in this section are going to be the brushes. If you already have similar brushes, you don't need to go out and buy these. I wouldn't suggest, but things that I feel like in this section I couldn't do without, and I'm so glad I added it to the routine, is the setting powder, because I was using, not really even routinely using a setting powder, let's be honest. So I really like this. And of course your concealer I felt like was also a super important step in this. So these are two that I definitely would pick up from Fenty Beauty. Okay, so now that we are finished with preparing our base, we are going to go ahead and move on to the eyes. And as I said before, most of the brushes that I'm going to be used are not Fenty's brushes, so I did just want to go ahead and put that out there, but I am still sticking to what the tutorial on the Fenty website is saying of how to create this look. So let's go ahead and get started. So he says we are going to be doing a brown smoky eye, and that he recommends that we start with a darker concealer. The shade that he chose in the video was shade 450. It looks like in their Pro Filter concealer that we discussed in the first video. But what I'm actually going to be using, because of course I don't have that shade, and as I said earlier in the first video as well, I was trying to make sure that the things that I purchased were things I didn't already have in my makeup collection, so I wasn't double purchasing and then not ever using that again. And I don't do a smoky eye very often, so luckily I am able to use something I already have for the purpose of this video that is also a Fenty product, which is my contour matchsticks in the color Espresso. And that is the color which I feel like is getting pretty darn close to the color that he is describing as a darker concealer shade in the video. So what we're gonna do is go in with this as he describes. And one thing I was watching while doing some research on the Fenty website of what to order was they said with the matchsticks, because I haven't really put these to many use. I think I was confused on how to use them best. And see, this is why research is important. This is why reading is important, because I learned a great trick that they mentioned that I'm hoping that will also help you. They basically recommend with the matchsticks in general that you warm them up first on your hand and then apply them to the face area. So I am going to, he said, to go in kind of right in there with the concealer shade, and we are going to do the other side the same there. Okay, I think that that's created the color that we want. And then he says that if you go in with a powder over it, that it's supposed to help with blending. So I am going to take my Pro Filter powder that I discussed in my first video, as well as the powder that I'm going to use. And again, I have the color Honey. I am just taking a brush that I have already, dipping that right in there, and I am going to go ahead, he suggests going over it to kind of help blend that out onto the lid there. It's looking pretty good. Let's see what the next step is. And for this step, just to stay true to the video, he is using Tapered Blending Brush 210, and that is described as a tapered eyeshadow brush, custom cut for applying and blending eyeshadow in the contour and crease area of the eye. So custom cut for crease application. And again, I am just using this brush here, a generic brush that I also know it'll blend out pretty well. So if you want to go according to Fenty products, though, he is using the brush 210. Now, I was super duper excited about this next step because he is using bronzer to create the smoky eye. And as you know from my first video, this was the first time I had ever introduced bronzer into my collection. Prior to this point, I'd really just been using blush for my cheek area and information that I knew about contouring to create that area there. But the bronzer I do have on now, and the bronzer shade that I have on is Caramel Cutie. So again, I was really excited that this was going to be able to double for my eyeshadow as well, which makes it even more reasonable as far as when you're thinking about purchasing these items. So let's go ahead and move on to that part. The next brush that he is using, according to the Fenty brushes, is going to be the all over eyeshadow brush in 200. And this brush is supposed to be your new favorite eyeshadow brush for picking up, laying down, and blending out pigment all over the eye. And I have a very similar, just generic brush I am going to be using, but if you want to stay true to the tutorial, it is the brush 200 for this step. Now, I do want to also add in this step that he is using Cocoa Naughty. So I have Caramel Cutie, which is supposed to match with my complexion, and the other one that they said would be good for 385 is Cocoa Naughty. If you watched my last video, you'll know that I decided to go with Caramel Cutie because I wanted that golden effect, and Cocoa Naughty was a little more brown and richer and darker. So I could completely see though why he's wanting to go with these darker shades, like he says, to build up the smoky eye. So I wanted to put that in here. If you already have both of these shades, he's using Cocoa Naughty a shade up from the bronzer shade that I currently have on in the Caramel Cutie. And what I'll also add to that is that he also used that in the first video to do the slight contouring underneath the bronze cheeks. He used Cocoa Naughty in this area to use that contouring effect. So if you're looking for bang for buck and you're okay with purchasing two of these bronzers and you're similar to my 385 complexion, then I could see use for both of these for sure, being able to use it as your bronzer in one shade, your slight contour in the other shade, and then again as a purpose for the darker shade in creating your brown smoky eye in this tutorial. So let's go ahead and get started. Again, I don't have the Cocoa Naughty, so I am going to be using something from my eyeshadow palette in a similar color scheme, or I'm going to do my best to create the Cocoa Naughty color. So in place of the Cocoa Naughty, I'm going to mix like a brownish and red color is the best way that I was kind of able to identify this color. So I am going to go ahead, it looks like he's placing that right here in the crease, kind of going up just a little bit to help blend out those areas. So I am going to do the same with the color creation that I have created, but again, he used Cocoa Naughty for this step. But I was watching on the Fenty website as well, you kind of want to create that little upward tick with your eyeshadows as well, and I see him doing that in the video also. So I am going to do that. One thing I forgot to put in here is priming for eyeshadow. They do an eye primer for your eyeshadow that you can purchase on Fenty's website. However, I was looking for ways to cut corners. I don't usually use an eye primer, although I feel like they can be very, very useful to enhance the color. Also did not mention an eye primer in the video either, so I thought that that was interesting. But what I usually will do is just put a little bit of my foundation on my upper lids there to just make the makeup stick a little bit more, but I just wanted to put that in there that that's also something that they offer if you're big on eye priming before you put on your eyeshadow. Now, he doesn't mention this in the video either for the particular brush that he's using for this, but what he does say is taking a smaller brush to go ahead under the eye as well to create the drama is what he says in the video. But if I had to pick out one that matches on the Fenty website, I would say it's likely going to be the Precise Definition eyeshadow brush 220, and that one is supposed to be a precision eyeshadow brush featuring a unique flattened taper tip for effortless smudging, which is, from what I understand, really what we're trying to do under the eye area. So let me go ahead. I am just using my same brush because this is not a brush that I already have. So I actually did order that one. It hasn't made it to me just yet because while I was doing this, I definitely realized that that was something I was missing within my brush collection. So I'm using the same brush, but I would say a precision brush is how they describe it. Again, 220 is the one on the Fenty website. And he suggests taking that right under the eye here and even coming upwards, like we were saying, to kind of build the drama. Okay, let's try the other side. I'm trying not to use too much because, again, I'm still fairly new to this and I don't know how much they really suggest that you use under the under eye area. But I think that that looks pretty good. You know me, if I'm doing something, I'd rather go more natural than overdo it. So that is so far how my smoky eye is looking, with me taking it underneath my eye area there as well. And then he goes even a shade up from that using Mocha Mamie in the bronzer shade. And that one definitely has more red undertones to it. And again, I do not have the next bronzer up, so I am creating my own brown with a hint of red undertone to the best of my ability. And he says he is focusing that on this outer corner there. And it looks like he is kind of going right in there and then in the crease. And kind of taking it up that way. Outer corner. Let's go ahead and do the other side with that. Now this is the only one that I would not purchase solely for eyeshadow or means of eyeshadow. If this is your next shade up, then sure, but I would not purchase this solely based off of that use. He is taking his smaller brush, which I identified for you earlier, and he is going right under again with that shade as well. Again, this is Mocha Mamie that he's using. I'm just using my own variation of that because I do not have that shade. Okay, you guys, so now that we have on our eyeshadow, I feel like that's looking pretty good for a brown smoky eye. He's going in next with the Fenty Beauty Fly Liner in the color Cause I'm Black. I actually tried this in the mini size first and I loved it so much that I did go ahead and upgrade to the full size here. And again, this is the Fly Liner Long Wear Liquid Eyeliner color Cause I'm Black. And they describe this as a hyper-saturated, water-resistant liquid eyeliner with an innovative flex tip and easy grip triangle shape for effortless, no-limit lining that lasts. Fade proof, water resistant, long wear is how they market this. So I am going to go ahead and use this, and he doesn't go over too much how to do this actual step. So I am going to do the best that I can. I am not particularly great at my eyeliner step, so I'm going to do the best that I can while I'm on here with you guys, just based off of what I know. So here we go. Fly liner. Now I already had liquid eyeliner before and I used to just do the Almay black eyeliner, and that's honestly what I still use pretty much on a daily basis. But if I really want to step up my look, I will go with the fly liner. What I will say about this is because of the tip, it is a bit more precise, I noticed, than like my Almay drugstore liquid eyeliner. So when I am trying to be a little bit more precise, I will do that. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I cannot seem to ever, I have to flip my hand all together to get that on there. So I like to do it pretty close to my lash line. And what I've learned is I can't come this way. I kind of have to stop mid and then I come and drag it up like so. I don't know. Okay. And then we're going to do the other side and we're going to drag it up. And I feel like he, of course, does this much better than I do because he does people's face all day, every day, and this is his profession. So we are just doing our own version to the best of our ability of this winged eyeliner look that he's giving. But this is the best way I know how to tell you as a person that doesn't do this very often. So again, for the sake of this video, this is our eye winged eyeliner look. So he says after we go in with our eyeliner, we want to go ahead and do the mascara part as well. So luckily with the sale, when you spend over $100, they did provide you a sample of the mascara, which is what I'll be using today. I absolutely love that. I was able to judge it here for you guys on the channel. So full frontal volume lift and curl mini mascara, or mascara, I'm happen to be looking at the mini size here. It is in the color Cause I'm Black, and the ultimate do-it-all mascara, now in a mini size, designed for a fully exposed lash look, featuring an exclusive flat to fat brush that instantly volumizes, lengthens, and curls. So what I really was impressed about is that they gave you the sample size, and then you can also get it in a mini size if you just want to try it out. I'm very particular about my mascara because I have very small lower lashes, so I always want to make sure that those are really prominent. So I need my mascara that really can pull my small longer lashes together for me. Now I usually use the MAC 3 Dimension Black because I feel like it does a good job of getting those lashes on my bottom lashes there, but for the purpose of this video we are using Fenty products. So again, I'm going to be using the Cause I'm Black Full Frontal Volume Lift and Curl. So in the video it looks like he does end up putting lashes on her, but I am not going to do that today because one, I'm not very good at it, let's be honest, and two, I'm trying to just use, based off of the tutorial, based off of the Fenty products, what this look comes together like of just a normal person doing this tutorial. So I'm going to leave the lashes off, but we are going to use the mascara. So I am going to go ahead, I like to come in this way and do it from the inside first to really get a good coating on there. And then I come in, just try to get each of these lashes kind of clumped together. So I'll take them and kind of just try to disperse them as much as possible. Okay, that's looking pretty good. We finally got something going on, because when we don't have mascara on, I definitely feel like you miss my eyelashes. So I'm really happy that we finally have some eyelashes on here. So let's go ahead and do the other eye. Again, I like to just kind of take it like so. I don't know about you guys, but with being right-handed, this side is always my tough side, and it always is so much harder for me to get my hands in the right place to do this side of my face. It's problematic. It's problematic, but here we go. It's working. It's working. And just trying to separate to the best of my ability so that they don't clump together on me. Now, this is easy to use. If you don't already have a mascara that you really like, I would say that this is a good choice. Let's go ahead and try to pull down those lower lashes as well. For this, I kind of start just like this. Then I'll come to the other side. Okay, and I'm just trying to pull them down as much as possible because, like I said, it's really hard for me to grip these little lashes under here. So now what he does in the next step that I really like, and I haven't been previously doing, was he says once you go with the eyes again, go ahead and do another layer of your concealer there. So he kind of puts a little bit more here, and then again on the other side, and then he actually blends that out again with his sponge. So we're going to take that and we're going to blend that back out with our sponge. And I'm sorry, you guys, let me close my mouth. I tell you, I start to make these weird faces and I'm like, now people are actually watching me do this. I'm not just alone in that bathroom. So let me stop making weird faces. Okay, but here we go. We are blending that additional concealer that he recommended right under the eye there. How's it looking so far? I think it's pretty good. I really like it. Okay, let's go ahead on to the next step. Immediately he goes in with his powder, and this step, I'm so sorry you guys, I should have done differently. He actually did one side first, then powdered that side before he moved on to blending out the other side. And from what I researched, he did that to avoid creasing as much. So again, that's one step I didn't do correctly. I want to amend here is it looks like you should do one side of the concealer and then go ahead and powder that side and then do your other side of concealer and powder that side. So just something I wanted to point out there. And I do talk about this more in my very first video that I did, or part 1 to this, but I am using the Pro Filter Instant Retouch Setting Powder in the shade Honey for this under eye section here. So I did want to point out that this is another section in the tutorial that he is using a tool that I did not purchase, but I always want to point that out to you. So he is using the Little Precision Makeup Sponge Duo 105, and that is described as a set of 2 different mini makeup sponges designed without latex. A triple-edged mini makeup sponge for super targeted coverage, plus a dual-edged mini makeup sponge with an innovative velvety designed for setting. And I could understand the benefit of this for the targeted section of the under eye area so that you can make sure you're not getting it with the area that you had already spent doing your eyeshadow. However, I just use my regular sponge to do that step, and I feel like that is perfectly fine. But if you're looking specifically to be able to target that range, you have already perfected what it is, this thing called makeup, and you feel like that's something important, then that is the sponge that he is using to be a little bit more precise with setting under the eye there. Also, I want to point out in this step, he does make a note to say that he's using butter for this shade instead of banana that he used for the face. And he's saying that you want to do that to brighten up the under eye area even a little bit more. But for my sake, I didn't want to have to purchase 2 different setting powders because, again, we are trying to be conscious of our monies that we are spending here to get the biggest bang for our buck. So what I chose to do was, in my very first, or the part 1 to this, I mentioned that I actually was between, according to my shade of 385, I was between Honey and Hazelnut, which is the darker shade. So I chose Honey so that I could use it for my outer perimeter and also for the under eye area that he's describing here. Because in my part 1, if you go back and watch that, the only thing so far that we've used our instant retouch setting powder for was right around the perimeter of our face. So in that, he's suggesting that of course you go with a darker shade. However, for the setting, a lighter shade, but what I realized was that I could do the Honey lightly around my perimeter of my face and then also use that as the lighter setting powder for right under the eye there. And I do feel like it definitely is lightening up and creating that photo finish that's described under the eye there. You guys let me know what you think about that. Okay, you guys, and that is the end of part 2, which is the eye section of the Fenty face according to this tutorial that we're using. And again with this, I just wanted to make sure that I was able to do this as someone that is not necessarily very good at makeup, simply just been doing it for years, but I'm still trying to refine the way I do my makeup. And this is like what I found in this tutorial to be just super easy to follow and to create the same effects with the Fenty Beauty line that they've given to us. So I hope that you guys like this video. I think my eyes and the base of my face, which we've done so far, has turned out pretty nicely. I'm pretty impressed. So if you guys have any questions, please let me know. You know, I'll be glad to answer them. All of the products are linked below as always, and I'll see you guys in the next one on Sunday. Thank you. Bye.